Hello friends and welcome to this tutorial. Here we'll be discussing about fractions and decimals. Let's start with fractions. So we say that fraction is a part of a whole. So if we consider this to be a whole part of a pizza and divide this in two equal halves, then we'll have two halves of the pizza. Each half of the pizza is represented by the fraction 1 by 2. Now if we divide this in three equal halves, then each of the part is called 1/3, and this fraction is represented by 1 by 3. And if we divide it in four parts, we'll have 1/4 of each part, and we'll represent each of the part in fraction as 1 by 4. Similarly, if we divide in 5 parts, we will have 1/5 of each part, and each of the part will be represented by the fraction 1 by 5. Similarly, if it is divided in 6 parts, then each of the part is called as 1/6 and is represented by the fraction 1 by 6. So we saw examples of fraction as 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5 and 1 by 6. And we named each of the fractions as half, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/6. Now we see in the fractions we have two things, the numerator and the denominator. So here all the fractions have a numerator as 1 and the denominators are 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. Now let's see the types of fractions we have. Now we have 6 types of fractions. Proper fractions are the fractions which have value less than 1. Therefore their numerator is less than their denominator. So examples of proper fraction would be 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 2 by 3, 3 by 4. So here the numerators are less than the denominators. Improper fractions are the fractions which have value greater than 1. Therefore their numerator are greater than the denominator. For example, 5 by 4, 6 by 5, 7 by 2, 9 by 5. All these are improper fractions. Now the third type are the mixed fractions, which have a whole number and a fraction combined into one mixed number, and they are also called as mixed number. For example, 1.5. We can express improper fractions as mixed fractions. For example, 5 by 4. So 5 by 4 can be written as 1 by 4. This is done by first dividing the numerator by the denominator. So 5 divided by 4 will have the quotient as 1 and will have 1 as remainder, and we'll write 4 here. So what does this improper fractions and mixed fraction actually mean? So if we have a mixed fraction, for example 1 by 4, this means that you have one whole part and a quarter of a part, that is 1/4. 1/4 is also called as a quarter. So if you have 3 2 by 4, so that means that you have 3 whole parts, okay, and a 3 by 4th part of another whole part, okay. So this can be written as 1 plus 1 by 4, like this. Okay. So adding 1 and 1 by 4 will have 1 by 4, which can be expressed in improper fraction as 5 by 4. We'll multiply 4 with the quotient and add the remainder to it. So 4 into 1 4 plus 1 5. So we'll have 5 by 4. So you understood improper fraction and mixed fractions, alright? Now the fourth type of fractions are called equivalent fractions. So we say that fractions that are equivalent fractions. For example, 5 by 4 and 10 by 8 are equivalent fractions. 8 by 3 and 40 by 15 are equivalent fractions. Why? Because this can be divided by 2, so that we'll get 5 by 4. So this and this are equal. Again, this can be divided by 5, so that we'll get 8 by 3. So this and this are equivalent fractions. So the fifth type is the like fractions. So the fractions that have same denominator are called like fractions. For example, 1 by 7, 2 by 7 and so on. So here all the denominators are same, therefore they are called like fractions. And the sixth one are called unlike fractions. So fractions that have different denominators are called unlike fractions, or fractions that are not like are called unlike fractions. Okay, so these are the types of fractions. Now we'll see fraction in simplest form. We say that a fraction is in simplest form if the numerator and the denominator have no common factors except 1. For example here, 6 by 4. The 6 and 4 have a common factor 2. So this is not in simplest form. Therefore, to write this in simplest form, we'll divide the numerator and denominator with the HCF between them. So the HCF between 6 and 4 is 2. So we'll divide 6 and 4 by 2. We'll get 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 is the simplest form of this fraction. Now let's see how do we compare fractions. To compare fractions, we can have three situations. We can have fractions with same denominators, or we can have fractions with same numerators, or we can have fractions where the numerator and denominator are not same. So in case where fractions have same denominators, that means that the fractions are like fractions. The fraction with the greatest numerator will be the greatest fraction. For example here, all the fractions have denominator 4. And this fraction here has the maximum numerator, which is 14 here. So this is the greatest fraction. Now in fractions where the numerators are same, for example here, the fraction with the smallest denominator is the greatest. So among these fractions, all of them have the numerator 35, but this fraction has got the smallest denominator, which is 7. Hence this is the greatest fractions among these. Now in the third case, where the numerator and denominator are not same, we will make the denominator same by taking the LCM of the denominator. Therefore, the LCM of 4 and 28 is 28. So 4 into 7 is 28. Therefore, we'll multiply 5 into 7 as well. So this fraction can be written as 35 by 28. Now again, these two have same denominator. These two are like fractions now. And since this is having the greatest numerator, this is the greater fraction. Now in case of mixed fractions, we'll compare the whole number part first. So here 2 is the greatest whole number, therefore this fraction is the greatest fractions among these. Now if all these fractions had same whole number part, for example if this was also minus 4 and this was also minus 4, then we would have compared the fraction part like we did here. So this is how we compare fractions. Now we'll see the arithmetic operations on fractions. Let's start with addition. In the first example, we are adding 2 by 7 and 32 by 12. The first thing we'll do is check if any of the fractions can be simplified into the simplest form. So we see that in this fraction here, the numerator and the denominator have got common factors. So this fraction can be simplified into simplest form. Now to do that, we'll divide the numerator and the denominator by the HCF between them. So the HCF between 32 and 12 is 4. So we'll divide 32 and 12 by 4, we'll get 8 by 3. Now we do this simplification so that we have to do the operation with smaller numbers. Okay, so now to add these two fractions, we'll make the denominators as same. Therefore we'll take the LCM of the denominators. The LCM of 7 and 3 is 21. The 7 multiplied 3 times will get 21. Therefore 2 is multiplied with 3. And 3 multiplied 7 times will get 21. Therefore 8 is multiplied 7 times. So this will be equal to 6 plus 56 by 21, which will be equal to 62 by 21. Now after reaching this, again we'll check if this fraction can be simplified into simplest form. And since there are no common factors between the numerator and the denominator, this is already in simplest form. Then we'll check if this fraction is an improper fraction. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. Therefore, we'll convert this improper fraction into mixed fraction. We'll divide 62 by 21, we'll get the quotient as 2 and 20 as remainder, and we'll write 21 as it is. Next, we'll take another example. Here we are adding mixed fractions, and that too positive and negative mixed fractions. Now the mixed fractions can be written like this. Minus 4 2 by 7 can be written as minus and then 4 plus 2 by 7. 2 32 by 12 can be written as 2 plus 32 by 12. And minus 3 5 by 6 can be written as minus 3 plus 5 by 6. Be careful with the negative mixed fractions. The negative sign will be outside the bracket, not inside the bracket like this. Because the minus sign is for entire fraction here, therefore the minus sign should be outside the bracket. If you take it inside the bracket with 4, the answer will be wrong. Okay, so this is wrong. So be careful with the negative mixed fractions. Now we can add the mixed fraction in two ways. In the first way, we convert the mixed fraction into improper fractions like this and then perform the addition. So to convert this mixed fraction into improper fraction, we'll multiply 4 with 7 and add 2. Here we'll multiply 2 with 12 and add 32. Here we'll multiply 3 with 6 and add 5. So this will be equal to minus 30 by 7, because 4 into 7 28 plus 2 30 by 7, and minus is here, so minus 30 by 7. This will be equal to 56 by 12, and this will be equal to minus 23 by 6. So this minus and plus will be minus, and this will be 23 by 6. Now to do this addition, we'll again follow these steps. So we'll first check if any of the fractions can be simplified into the simplest form. So 56 by 12 can be simplified into simplest form as 14 by 3. Now we'll make the denominator same by taking their LCM. So we'll have 42 as the common denominator. So 7 multiplied 6 times will get 42. So 30 is multiplied into 6. 3 multiplied 14 times will get 42. So 14 is multiplied 14 times. And 7 multiplied by 6 will get 42. So 23 is multiplied 7 times. So this will be equal to minus 180 plus 196 minus 161. So again we know how to add positive and negative numbers. We'll take the negative numbers together and then add to the positive number. So we'll get minus 145 by 42. So this is again, the denominator is greater than the numerator. So we'll convert this into mixed fraction. We'll get minus 319 by 42. So we converted the mixed fraction into improper fractions and then perform the addition like we did here. In the second way, we can add the whole number part together and the fraction part together and then add both of them. So we'll just expand this expression so that we'll get minus 4 plus 2 and minus 3. And this will be minus 2 by 7 plus 32 by 12, and this will be minus 5 by 6. So this will be equal to minus 5, because minus 4 plus 2 minus 3 will be minus 5. And then we'll do the addition of the fraction part here. So this is again the addition of the fractions like we did earlier. So we'll again make the denominator same. We'll take the LCM, which is 84. So we'll get minus 5 and this. So this will be minus 5 plus 130 by 84. So we'll simplify this in simplest form. We'll get 65 by 42. Now since this is an improper fraction, we will convert this into mixed fraction. We'll get minus 5 plus 123 by 42. Again we'll take the whole number together. So this will be minus 4, 23 by 42. Now we'll perform this addition. We'll make the denominator same. So minus 4 into 42 plus 23. So this will be minus 168 plus 23 by 42. So this will be minus 145 by 42. Again we'll convert this into mixed fraction. We'll get the answer as minus 319 by 42. So this is how you perform addition. Now for subtraction, you can follow the same rules and perform the subtraction of fractions as well. Now we'll see multiplication and division of fractions. Let's multiply 2 by 7 into 35 by 12. We'll first check if any of the numerator can be divided by any of the denominator, or if any of the denominator can be divided by any of the numerator. So we see that 12 can be divided by 2, we will get 6. 35 can be divided by 7, we will get 5. So the answer is 5 by 6. This fraction is in simplest form. Now to do the division, for example 2 by 7 divided by 35 by 12, we can write the division into multiplication form by taking the reciprocal of the divisor fraction. So the divisor fraction is 35 by 12. We'll take the reciprocal of the fraction. So the reciprocal of the fraction means we'll write the fraction as 1 divided by the fraction. So this can be simplified by taking this 12, the denominator of this fraction, as the numerator, and 35 will become the denominator. So to write the reciprocal of a fraction, we just need to invert that fraction. That means we have to make the denominator as the numerator and the numerator as the denominator. So now here in this multiplication, none of the numerator can be divided by any of the denominator, and none of the denominator can be divided by any of the numerator. So we'll simply multiply. So 2 into 12 is 24, 7 into 35 is 245. So the answer will be 24 by 245, and this fraction is also in simplest form. So this was all about fractions. Now solve the questions for this tutorial and then move on to the next tutorials. So until then, take care and study well.